Good morning, Kyle.
Good morning, Anne.
Happy Monday.
Happy first day of spring.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday, Bennett Harvey.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday to your brother.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ann Rossley. I am here with my dear friend and colleague, Kyle Harvey. We're with Baird Warner's Gold Coast office. We sell real estate in downtown Chicago, and we love to come to you every Monday morning on Facebook Live, and you'll see us later on YouTube talking about what's shaking. So, Kyle, how was your weekend?
Broadcast is now live, it says.
I'm 54 seconds in.
Oh, whatever. The little sign came up. I'm like, oh my God. It's good. How was yours? I did not do a ton of real estate this weekend, so that was unusual. People said, let's get together. What do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't do. What did you do? You have something to tell us.
Well, yeah, I'll get to that later. It was a real estate weekend for me. It was very, very busy. You have a brother whose birthday is today, so happy birthday. And I guess what we should just kind of get into it. I named the show this week The Great Chicago Inventory Shortage. So
look at that, man.
Don't you think that's kind of what we're dealing with here?
It's shocking.
Yeah. I only have one slide that shows us about sales. This is rolling 12 months through end of February, which shows that we're down versus previous 12 months, but still ahead of 2021. But now let's look at lakefront communities. Wait a minute. I have to remove our names. Again,
Well, at least they're not at the bottom. There we go.
Yeah, I just need a reminder or something. Okay, so you can see inventory. This is properties for sale in the lakefront communities. Okay, so you can see this was like the 2008 to 2012. And then we got into a regular market here, right? So in September of 2019, right before the pandemic, there were 5,575 properties on the market. Today, 2,430. So less than half. If you look at it in terms of months supply, there are currently 2.3 months worth of supply on the market compared to 5.4 pre-pandemic. But then when you dig into the neighborhoods, it gets even crazier. So in Edgewater, there are currently 96. Now, Edgewater is known as the community that has the most condominiums because they've got all those high rises up and down Sheridan Road, right? This is condos and single families up there, and it's only 96 on the market today compared to 267 in September. Look at it. It's crazy. Month supply of homes for sale is 1 point something. I didn't put it on here, but you and I were talking yesterday, and you inspired me to look this up. 55 so far this month have come on the market new, and 55 have gone under contract.
I mean, good Lord.
Right? Yeah, whatever's going up is selling.
And those privates are going to go under contract too.
Right. So, okay, let's look at North Center, which is, for those of you who may not know, just west of Lakeview, Roscoe Village. Think Roscoe Village. Okay, pre-pandemic, 184. Today, 51. 27 new this month, 29 sold or under contract.
Yeah, but that's likely sold.
Yeah, 1.1 months worth of inventory. Westtown, pre-pandemic, 604 on the market. Today, 167. 96 came on the market, 99 went under contract. It's just so crazy stuff, right?
Crazy.
So that's it. I mean, I
just to play this out, here's a quick snapshot of what we see. I'm going to show you right now what a screenshot of yesterday's hot sheet for the Gold Coast, and it was a 3-day hot sheet. Where is that? Share screen, just so you can see what it is that we look at. This is the Gold Coast, just a snap of the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast has been slow over this last bit. Look at all these under contingents. No new, there's one new house, but all of these are under contingent, and most of them, or many of them, have been on the market for under 30 days. They're new, there's some new, but it's not enough for how much is going on. I've also got a screenshot of, oopsie, here comes the, I get it, there we go. Screenshot of what's happening on Top Agent Network.
Yeah.
And Top Agent Network, this really, did it come up? Yeah, let me in.
Oh, sorry.
It's just the agents talking to each other. But as you can see, so broadcasting new properties for sale, 285, quiet properties, 60, 32 have sold in the last 90 days. Client leads, buyers, 1,351.
Wow.
614 quiet ones, and 39 rented, purchased or rented in the last 30 days. I mean, it's just shocking. Okay, so that's all I wanted to share.
No, that's great. So let's talk for 30 seconds about why the market is the way it is right now, and then we'll talk about what our clients can do in this market.
It is you just mentioned it. It's the theme of this show. It's the story of inventory. Our Laura Ellis from Baird Warner gave an interview to The Real Deal this past week, and she said it is inventory. We are desperate to sell we don't have properties to sell.
And why are they not on the market?
Interest rates. No one wants to trade a 2.8%, 3%, 3.5% interest rate for potentially a 7% interest rate to move to a home that is better for them for financial reasons. Mm-hmm. What are you seeing?
No, I say the same thing. Unless they have a major life event that's causing them to move today, whether it's a job change, divorce, new baby, or maybe growing family where they have to move, they're not making the move. So
and they're not making the move also unless they can cash out of their place and buy with cash, because they just don't want a 7% mortgage. Now, what I'm finding, and I'm sure you are too, Anne, is new buyers have got their heads wrapped around, it's going to cost me 7%. Okay, I'm going to go do it. But sellers who have a home, I think they're also thinking, with inventory so low, I'm not going to find my next home unless I'm moving out of state.
Right.
I'm not going to find it.
Well, and maybe our next show, we should kind of put this in context nationwide, because I'm hearing stuff about other markets where, yes, there's low inventory, but they're also seeing some price softening. All those places that went big during the pandemic, the Sun Belt, Texas, Florida, Carolinas, it's loosening up there. So,
yeah. And they also had, and we're about to get to sort of why, they had a bubble,
right,
where price had no relation to value, to comps, to anything. People wanted that property and we're going to pay whatever it took to get it. And that was great for sellers. That was terrible for buyers. And I think it's going to be a challenge for people in 10 years who decide they want to sell. They may find a very different market and will end up losing money on their home and being very unhappy about it. I get it.
We haven't had that. We saw single family homes go up about 10%. Condos remain flat. But, that's causing us to not lose value right now.
No. So, I mean, you will find at the individual level, there will be properties that have lost value, but mainly because owners, because people who bought back, 10 years ago, have refused to do anything to improve it. And then they're like, well, why have I lost money? And your response is, well, that's the same house. And
you didn't maintain your property. You didn't improve it. You didn't stick with the times.
And somebody else is going to have to put a lot of money in it.
Right. Right.
Let's get to next.
So next, we want to talk about, like, let's say you have to buy in this market. What do you do?
And sellers are not as much as in 2022 or 2021. We're finding multiple offers. Not as much, but today there are multiple offers, and I am finding with my properties and my buyers that they don't want to be in a multiple offer situation. But people, if you want to move.
Yeah. So let me just share with you. On Saturday, I had an open house. 2-bedroom, 1-bath, Magnolia Glen, which is part of Edgewater, just north of Andersonville, like 2.5 blocks north of Andersonville. So right there. And it was darling, priced at $259,900. I figure I probably had on Saturday 100 people come through, and probably on Sunday 40 people come through. And I had 6 offers, 5 of which were pretty close. And so, yeah, there are multiple offers going on right now. And when people have to move or they see something they really, really like, because here's the other thing we haven't mentioned, rents are continuing to go up. Rents in Chicago were up 12.6% for 1s and 2 bedrooms versus previous year. So that march is continuing on. Yeah. So as much as people may want to not buy, buying helps stop that.
No, buying does stop that. It stops it. I mean, the only things that you worry about are tax increases, and I got to tell you, my taxes went down last year, and taxes go up smaller amounts than rents go up, and assessment rises, but you want your assessment to go up a little bit every year because that means that the building's being taken care of.
Absolutely. With inflation, it's, you have to go up a little. All right. So we've said this before. We'll say it again. You have to have the right search tools if you want to find the home of your dreams. You need to have access to private listings. You need to have an agent that is searching the network to find things for you. Then be prepared to act, right?
Yes. And learn the market, and pre-approvals matter, but there are now additional approvals that can be done. You can have gone through the first round of underwriting. It's what do they call it? What does Baird Warner call it?
Automatic underwriting. I don't know. They have some name for it, but
there's a name, but it is even stronger. And that will matter because there will be cash buyers out there, and you don't want somebody to take a discount on the purchase price because somebody's coming with cash. You show yourself, I'm as strong as cash.
Absolutely right. And know what your situation is. Know what you can play with. How far can you push yourself? What are you willing to do? What are you unwilling to do? Don't be wishy-washy about that. Really know so that you can exploit your own situation. It's not the market for a non-competitive offer. How's that for double negative?
Well, but here's to your point, and one of the things that I always find, have an agent who asks questions on your behalf. What is important to this seller? Agent to agent, what is important to this seller? What does this seller need? Is getting in early important? What are the things that are non-cash that are important? And I got to tell you, often, so for example, I sold a townhouse on the private network, sorry everybody, on LaSalle. And another one that went right before we even got on the market, again, sorry, they sold for cash in 2 weeks at a discount. So there were bidders who came to my property because they lost because they didn't want as quick a close or didn't know the quick close was important to the seller. And so they lost the property. And they're to my benefit, thank you. But those are the things. You've got to know what's important.
Right. And so let's talk turkey here. we just said, don't underbid. Put your best foot
Not the
forward.
time to test the waters.
Right, right. To your point, closing date. Find out what the seller wants to do and see if you can match that.
Yes.
As is condition. So as is condition doesn't mean you have to necessarily take it as it is. Basically, what it means is you're not going to nickel and dime the seller. So in other words, do your inspection and then say, I'm willing to take whatever it is. You can still use the inspection to get out if, for example, the foundation's crumbling or you find out that there's some bad thing going on. But by saying as is condition, you're basically saying, look, I'm in this.
I'm not going to come back and say there wasn't a battery in the smoke alarm.
Right. Right. Or the GFCI isn't done, which is like always.
There seems to be a leak under the sink.
Yeah.
I'm going to have my plumber come out and take care of that.
And tighten that nut. Yeah.
And that's important. Yeah.
Yeah. Escalation clause.
Especially
Yeah.
with not estates, because estates really sort of insist on as-is clauses as riders, but when the seller is older.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're moving on. And for you to say as is, you might get it.
Right. All right. Escalation clauses. Do you do them?
I certainly do them in competitive, in a bake-off, in a best and final offer situation. I will do one, but I will, I'll cap it at something that my people really is their top.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Pay part of the closing costs for the seller.
Do you do them?
Yeah. Well, and what was funny was not everybody allows them, because I had a couple agents ask me, will your seller accept an escalation clause? And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a while here. All right. Closing costs for the seller. Paying part of those could be a good strategy.
Yes.
And avoiding contingencies. Selling your home is not going to fly in a multiple offer situation.
Yeah. And a serious earnest money tells the seller that you are really going to be there at closing.
And there's basically no risk as long as you're managing your dates.
Absolutely.
You know, it's the money goes toward your down payment, so do it.
Yeah, so it absolutely is good.
Right.
But, I totally agree with this last one. Tell us about the last one.
Well, okay, so with these offers that I got, sloppy.
Oh.
One didn't have the disclosures attached. Another one didn't have the disclosures signed. They didn't have the personal property right, which was right in the listing agreement. They just kind of went boom, 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 boom. They assumed that the microwave was attached. They assumed there was a garbage disposal. You know, when you're in a multiple offer, I pay attention to that.
So I have to tell you, there are a lot of listing agents, who don't fill in the things that are in the kitchen. And I'm like, I saw a microwave. I saw this.
Right.
So you have to guess, because the listing agent has either not spoken to the seller, or the seller. I'm just lazy.
Yeah, that drives me insane. Demonstrate commitment to the deal. And by this, what I mean is by your agent asking the questions, as you said, by completing your offer in a manner that shows that you're committed.
Responding quickly.
Some of this is the agent you work with too. You know, I will write, for example, here is my client's offer. You know, and I introduce my clients. I say why this property is right for them, how they're committed to this. This isn't a fly-by-night offer where they're just, you know, seeing if it's going to stick to the wall. But there are lots of ways, but demonstrate your commitment to the deal. You're not going to like have buyer's remorse on day 2.
Absolutely. Best possible, best pre-approval. Yes. We already talked about.
You mentioned this, the automatic underwriting. Yeah.
Well, the appraisal waiver will depend on the lender.
Well, what I'm saying is, yes, it'll depend on the lender. But if you're doing an escalation clause, and this is part of the problem I'm having right now, if you, as the buyer, require the property to appraise out,
Yeah.
then, you could offer them the moon and it doesn't so much matter, right? I mean, sometimes a seller's happier to take a 250,000 guarantee than a 300, but it has to appraise out. Just saying.
Yeah. Get creative. I know. It's really, and so for example, I've got a property that sold, and I have to tell you, at every single milestone in the the mortgage approval process, I get a call from the buyer's lender. And I'm trying not to be like, whenever you call me, I get scared that you're telling me that things have gone wrong. Things have gone right. So I sort of bite my tongue and just listen and say thank you. But each time I get that call, I'm like, but it's good. So
yes, it's good. The other thing is, like, think about it from the seller's perspective with a net proceeds calculator to really figure it out. And let's look at something real here.
I love this.
Okay, so this is a worksheet of 5 offers. These are the initial prices. They ranged from $260 to $275. Closing dates ranged from, what do we say, 5/24. Now, all of these people knew that the seller was looking for an early June close.
Okay.
This I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
Early May closing was offered, and the seller could rent until June 15th for free.
Huge.
Isn't that cool? That was a thoughtful one.
Yeah.
All right. Down payment and rate. 9% down, 7.5%. Over here, 3% down and 6.75%.
Where did they get that?
Yeah. I'm nervous at 6.75% on today's rates on a condominium. Earnest money ranges from $1,000 initial with $7,000 up to $2,000 initial and $24,600.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Get the mortgage by. They're all basically 45 days, although 522 is too long. That's way too long to wait. All right. Inspection.
Especially with that crazy low interest rate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, 3% down, 6.75, but you got to wait till end of May to figure out if I'm going to get a loan or not.
Right. And that's a low. Yeah. I want to see their pre-approval. Go ahead.
Well, exactly right. Okay. Attorney inspection all 5 days. There is a $2,500 special assessment. Only one said the buyer would pay for it. Okay. Tax proration. Everybody said TBD, but this guy again stood up and said 100. It's only like $150 difference.
Yes.
But, the fact that they
said, I'm going to take the risk that it goes up a little smidgen.
Right. 2 of them had as is riders. The others did not. Okay. And then we had some escalation clauses. So when it was all said and done, 275, 273.5 because of the 2,500 remaining on the special. Mm-hmm. This one's 273,139.
Are you counting the rent back value of the rent back? Got it.
Yep. However, these only had basic pre-approvals, didn't say anything about automatic underwriting, whereas these guys did.
Yeah.
And here was the kicker. These didn't have attached disclosures. This first one, wrote a beautiful love letter. And here's the other thing. I had all these people at the open house. This young man introduced himself, asked questions, made sure I knew who he was. Sometimes buyers are like, I don't want anybody to know because it's private. I don't want to show that I really love this property. But you know what? If you're in a multiple offer, he showed his commitment to this property, with thoughtful questions, with, the love letter. And he was the first in with an offer. He wrote an offer within 3 hours.
So I'm looking forward to hearing in time whatever happens.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I was on the phone with my sellers for 2 hours because you can see when you look at the net proceeds number, they're extremely close. You've got 20% down, you've got the early rent back, so you know sooner. There was no clear winner here in my book.
Yeah.
Which one would you take?
I
Oh,
would
by the way, you notice nobody is saying that they will stick to a number based on appraisal. Not one of them.
Well, I'm going to tell you that the appraisal, they might even waive the appraisal on this thing because there's no inventory, and they're going to be like, things are getting swooped up, and all we have to do is hand the appraiser all the contract offers, and just be like, well.
Yeah, we'll see.
So I would probably personally take the one with the early close and the rent back, but that would be just me because I just love that idea.
It's a great idea, isn't it? I know. That was a good agent.
So that is beyond interesting. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. I'm now going to
show me some properties.
So again, we talk about how little inventory there is, but 3 really expensive properties came on the market. One not so expensive, but I thought it was pretty.
Yeah,
on the market in the Gold Coast, and these are new, not faux new. And so
I love that. That's the term of the week now. Faux new.
Faux new. Okay. Do you have it?
Oh, sorry. Here we go.
Okay. Oh, whoopsie. You're about to see me get up and get the. So people, I overslept this morning. Here we are back. This is.
Oh, you're getting your notes. I was trying to figure out what you were doing there. All right.
Hello, everybody. This is the John Hancock building, if you haven't seen, or as we like to call it now, because it's no longer John Hancock, 175 East Delaware. This is the unit 9207. So the top floor. And I first started with the layout because this is not huge. It's on the market for it's just shy of $3.8 million. And as you see, the entire wall, all the outward walls are glass, pure glass, with some very interesting stuff. But it's not huge. It's only 3,300 square feet. Okay, so now you see what the layout. It is 4 bedrooms, but they're counting this room here as a bedroom, which really sort of is a den. And it is 4.5 baths. Okay, so here we go. Look at that.
Wow.
You're on a boat. It's like you're on a plane. It's like you're hovering in a plane.
I don't know. How would you personally feel about that? I don't know.
I actually I don't have heights issues, and I think it's rather cool. And I love that you get some of the structural.
You like the diagonals. Well, it's big enough that the diagonals don't take all your view.
And it's high enough that the diagonals are in the, at the top, they're just in the corners. So
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Good Lord. I would call friends and say, we have weather coming. I become the weather forecaster. This is just an example of your view. So this is your bedroom view. I'm so sorry. You're on a boat. It's so lovely.
Wild. Yeah.
And
you do feel the building sway up there, though. You can't get seasick.
Well, your building does sway, but remember, it comes in a little bit. And so it sways less than the ones that are just like this.
Yeah.
The little bit of the tapering, a little bit, but yes, do not get seasick. But look at this is your nighttime view. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a deal. If you want to spend $3.8 million, are here to help you. Then the second one is, so Ann and I have shown you before is it the 3rd floor or the 5th floor? It's all one floor of 65. This is 65 East Goethe. That one was an entire floor, and it's only on the market for, is it 16 million? I mean, my God. So this is a different aesthetic. This is smaller. It's only 9,000 square feet, and it is on the 8th floor, so close to the top. So here we go.
Okay.
Okay, that is a huge footprint. Look at that.
Yes, it is.
Huge footprint. And there's a little more wall space for you to hang out, so enjoy that. So it is 6 bedrooms, 4 full baths, 2 half baths, 9,000 square feet, on the market for $13.9 million. The tax bill, people, is $138,306, but they don't have their homeowners.
Oh, so you could save on that.
Taking a couple $100 off. Okay, so here we go.
All right.
So there's a covered terrace, so that's one of the good things. So you get a private terrace, but that's, you do get a lake view out these windows, but it's just a very different aesthetic. A different aesthetic from the one that we showed you, the 16.8 million.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit more of an old worldy, classic view. Your wine room, or just for wine tasting. I'd spend every cocktail hour right here.
Every night, gather around the wine table.
Just much more. They introduce more wood tones, but it's really very pretty.
It is, yeah.
And then there is
that's nice.
your private deck.
It's just peaceful looking at it, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So you get your lake view, sort of a similar view in the sense that all you see is lake, but that's sort of great. And then the third is 209 East Lakeshore Drive, which is, 1209. I've got 209 on my head because I'm going there later. 1209 North Astor, a building my grandmother lived in, so I spent a lot of my youth there. It is unit 14N, and this one has outdoor space. So first of all, they have really opened it up, but because it's at the top, it's got this private terrace. And you'll see, I'll show you a little bit more of it. But look how they've opened up. So usually there would be walls separating this area, separating the dining room and the living room, creating a very formal foyer. But they've opened it all up, and they've opened up this bed. This used to be a bedroom or a library. My grandmother said it was a library, and it had a Jack and Jill bathroom. But they've now opened it up and made it feels very modern, doesn't it?
Yes.
And they've redone the kitchen to make it a modern feeling kitchen. And behind it is the former maid's room, which is now an office. This is the main bedroom. Look at that. You can go out. They've got sliding glass doors. It feels very modern.
Yes.
Would you have done a prettier bed? I would have done something prettier with the bed, with the linen.
Yeah.
That's like a college dorm situation. But that is the layout.
And look at that terrace. My, oh my, oh my. That's stunning.
Anyway, that's all I have for you.
I love it. Oh gosh, who doesn't love good properties, huh?
Who does?
Holy smokes.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was on the market for 1.15. No,
What?
It's on the market for 1.150. 1,150,000. A deal.
How many square feet?
0.
What?
So my guess is that's 2,700 square feet.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
2,800.
They didn't put the square footage in?
It is a let's see who's got it. Somebody who sells often in the building has it, and I think they didn't measure it again because they took out some walls which added square feet, and I guess they didn't want to underestimate. I don't know. So they did not. It's 0, but it's a nice size 3-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I love looking at properties. Don't we have the best job? All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Catch us next week. I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but we'll have something good. Send us a question if you have it. All right. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.